Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video, we're going to be unboxing, assembling, testing, and reviewing another laser engraver. This go around, it is from the Toocaa Laser Company. It is the L2 20-watt laser. So thank you Toocaa for supplying me with the laser and trusting me with this review video. Now I'm really eager to get this one unboxed and assembled because it is a fully enclosed laser. I've never had one of those to review, so I'm really happy to do this. They sent me all of the stuff you see here on the counter. They sent me a new honeycomb spoil board. They sent the air assist. They sent a box of sample materials to test with, and the laser itself. And you can see that is a nice big sturdy box. What I've got is the card table set up to do the assembly process on. I'm going to move the camera over to it to give you guys hopefully the best vantage point and view as possible while we are assembling the laser. So let's move the camera and do that now. And I am going to begin by cutting the tape with my Swiss Army knife and beginning the unpacking process. Everything is packaged very carefully by the Toocaa company between all of the foam, and everything is wrapped in plastic. Everything was secured nice and tightly within the box so nothing could get damaged during the shipping process. I'm going to begin by adding the exhaust vent here, and you want to make sure it is in the proper orientation when you hook it to the back of the laser enclosure. And again, I've never looked at a laser that has the full enclosure included with it, so I was really excited to get this laser put together and get it tested. The instructions are very straightforward. Everything is clearly labeled. All of the little bags have labels on them, so there is no guesswork during the assembly process. Here I am attaching one of the brackets that will hold the gasket that holds the lid up and down. But I will continue on and begin building the enclosure here. It only took me around 30 minutes total to assemble it, and it was very straightforward. Everything was labeled as I said, and all of the pieces were labeled as well with stickers on which way to go when building up the enclosure. That makes sure that you make no mistakes during the assembly process. I do want to thank Toocaa for sending me this 20-watt laser engraver and trusting me with this review video. Here I am putting the hinges on the lid itself. Really love that orange color. And again, Toocaa laser engravers. This one specifically is billed as the world's safest laser engraver. And we'll talk more about that in the next part of the video. Putting the handle on the front of the enclosure here. And if you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. Here I am putting on the gaskets to open and close the lid. And now it's time to begin the final assembly here by putting the feet on the bottom of the laser and hooking up the laser module itself. The laser was pretty much fully assembled right in the box, and I did want to go on and put my logo on the laser head here. And it was just two little screws here to hold the power cable in. But then it was time to attach the enclosure we just built. And there is a bit of weight once everything is fully assembled, so just be careful when picking it up and moving it. But I will get all of the little brackets here attached all the way around the laser, and the assembly process for the Toocaa laser will be complete. And here we have the fully assembled 20-watt Toocaa laser engraver, complete in the full enclosure, and this thing is phenomenal. The build quality is outstanding. I am very impressed with this full kit. The instructions are very well written. It only took me around 30 minutes to get everything put together, and we are now ready to put power to it and rock and roll. Again, the instructions are very well written. Everything is clearly labeled. You have guides on here. You have the proper tools that come in the kit, and each of the little bags are labeled to where there's no guesswork on which screw or bolt goes into which position. So very cool. Very cool to have that kind of quality instruction manual. All the tools you need to assemble it are included. And this laser is billed as the world's safest laser engraver. And I want to talk about some of the safety features. Of course, you do have the protective shield all the way around it, which is really cool, makes it look really cool, but also it protects your eyes with this orange translucent glass material here. Of course, anytime I use a laser, I will have the safety UV goggles on my eyes. There was a pair included with the laser. I like how the lid has this gasket on each side here to help hold the lid up while you are putting material in or removing material. Another safety feature is if a laser is running and you lift the lid, the laser will shut off completely, so there's no chance of damaging your eyes by looking at it with it being unprotected, so to speak. There is also this safety key here included that goes in the side by the power switch, and if you have little ones in your garage or workshop and you do not want them around the laser or working with it when you are not around and they are unsupervised, you can take the key and the laser will not come on unless this USB key is in the control panel. So that's another cool feature. It also has motion detection. So if I was out and I had the laser running, and let's just say I bumped into the table like that, the laser would automatically shut off. There is flame and detection as well, and it's also packed with LED lights all the way around to make sure you have the best view possible while you are making creative art. Now, Toocaa also supplied me with a new honeycomb spool board, so we will be putting it in. We will also be hooking up the air assist that they supplied me with, so thank you guys for all of this. This is an amazing kit, as I said, and I highly recommend it. I do want to hook up the dust vent and the fan. You can see the power cable back here, but unfortunately the plug that they sent me is not for American plugs. You guys know over here in the US of A, we used the 3-prong plugs. This is a 2-prong plug, so I will have to try to source an adapter to where we can get the dust extraction hooked up properly. But we are about to segue into the portion to where we're doing some actual tests. Again, I still got to hook up the air assist. That's very straightforward. You just run the hose down to the laser module itself and put the honeycomb spoil board in. For all of the tests in today's video, I will be using the Lightburn software. It is capable of using its own software as well as laser Gerbil software. But you guys, if you've seen other laser content on this channel, you guys know that I'm more familiar and comfortable with the Lightburn software. So let's move the camera to where we can get some better perspective of it after we get the power hooked up and we can do some tests. Alright my friends, now it is time to do some laser tests. As you can see here, I've got the Lightburn software loaded up with some test files on it. We've got the air assist hooked up, and I've also got the honeycomb spoil board in here. And I'm happy to report that when I was unboxing all of the other stuff, I did find the adapter for the plug for the exhaust fan in the back, so I'm happy to have it. It is included, so I didn't know that when I filmed the first part, so I'm going to attach that to make it an American plug and get that hooked up. And once the power is to everything, we will of course be doing a few tests for the next portion of the video. And the first test we are going to do over at the Toocaa Laser is a material test. You guys know I like to run this test on all of the lasers just to see what the cutting capabilities are. This is just a scrap piece of 1/4 inch material, and obviously the footage is sped up. And what I'll do is do all of the tests here, and we'll talk about everything more in depth in the next part of the video. But you can see the laser is now laser cutting. It did all of the engraving first. And you guys know I love using this 1/4 inch material with the lasers. But this will be the first test over on the Toocaa Laser, and I was very happy with how everything came out. And then I wanted to do a custom slate drink coaster These are always very popular and unique and so easy to make. There's very minimal prep work when you make the slate drink coasters. I'm engraving my Artisan Pirate logo onto the slate here, and again the footage is sped up, but you can totally customize these with any business logo, a quote, a verse, song lyrics, or anything, and you can batch these out and sell them quickly at craft fairs or vendor markets or even fall festivals. And it took around 8 to 12 minutes for the laser to engrave this coaster here. But after the slate drink coaster was done, I loaded a larger piece of the 1/4-inch material into the laser, and we are going to make a custom cell phone stand here. Once again, the laser will do all of the engraving to start off with before it does the laser cutting. And I put the GoPro into the enclosure here to give you guys the best view possible. And you can see how nice, crisp, and clean this amazing Toocaa laser is. And once it starts laser cutting, you can see how well the enclosure does with keeping all of the smoke and fumes contained. And then it will be piped out of the back of the enclosure, keeping the air quality as clean as possible. Of course, here I do not have it hooked to the hose. I just have it on the card table. But now we are going to do another test, and for this one we are going to be making a small cardboard house for diorama purposes that is assembled with slots and tabs. And this cardboard here came right out of the box that the Toocaa laser came with, and this is where I really see lasers being used a lot for making different styles of stencils for airbrush or spray paint purposes. And with Halloween right around the corner at the time of this video's recording, I also think they would be very versatile machines to laser cut out pumpkin carving stencils for the jack-o'-lanterns. So many options and versatilities when it comes to laser engraving and laser cutting. And because of the size of the miniature house here, I'm having to go in 2 separate passes. You can see that the laser cut it out cleanly and precisely. And what it is doing now is continuing with the second part here. And again, I put the GoPro on the inside for you guys to see how all of the smoke and the fumes are contained within the enclosure itself. Of course, the whole time I had the laser running, I had on the air filtration unit in the workshop, and I also had the shop door open with a fan running. But it made quick work of the cardboard here, and I am only scratching the surface of what this laser is capable of. If you guys would like to see me use it more and more, please let me know down in the comments. But it is a very powerful 20-watt machine. Now all of the pieces are done here, and you can see the GoPro sitting on the inside of the enclosure. But I will assemble the small house off camera. And you guys can see me turning off the GoPro there. But again, very impressed with this laser engraver. And now we are removing the pieces here, and you can see how they fell out cleanly from the waste material. But really happy with this powerful 20-watt laser from the Toocaa company. All of their contact links as well as a discount code will be in the description box below this video. What we will do now is transition to the final part of the video where I talk about all of the tests we done in today's video. And I thank you all for following along. And that, my friends, is going to about wrap up our review of the Toocaa L2 20-watt laser engraver. I am very happy and very impressed with that laser, and I'd highly recommend you guys out there in the big wide world to seek out their social medias and websites. I'll have them linked below, as well as a discount code linked in the description box below of this video. Very happy with this laser engraver. It's an all-in-one compact one with the full enclosure. Very happy with it, and the quality, the build quality is outstanding. Once again, that is the Toocaa L2 laser engraver. There you see the instruction manual we use to put everything together. The laser is pretty much fully assembled in the box. The only thing you need to do is connect the laser module, the laser head, to the laser itself, and the main construction is actually the enclosure. But with my experience, I got the enclosure built in around 30 minutes. That time may vary for you guys, but it is a phenomenal laser, and I would highly recommend it. All of the tools and the bolts and everything were clearly labeled to where there was no guesswork on assembling everything. The little toolbox that came with it, they even came with a spare lens, so that's really cool to have a spare lens. They also came with a little step block here for micro adjustments when dialing in precise thicknesses over at the laser. So thank you guys for everything you sent me. And in today's video, we done 4 tests. Keep in mind, we did not even use any of the sample material that came with the laser itself. I used materials that was readily available out here in the workshop to get started with. But the very first test we done, as I always do, is a material test. And as I always say, anytime the laser engraver is running, even though this is billed as the world's safest laser engraver with that protective orange translucent material to protect your eyes and allow you to peer into it, I still had on my safety UV goggles during all of the testing in today's video, and I had the air filtration unit also running in the roof of the workshop, and I also had the shop door and a fan going, so please be aware of that. Try to keep the air quality in your workshop as clean as possible and protect your eyes and protect your lungs. But the very first test we done was a material test. This is a test that I designed in the Lightburn software just to test the engraving and cutting capabilities of the laser. And the engraving is very precise and the quality is phenomenal. As I said, you can see how nice and clean it laser etched everything. And then we tested the laser cutting capabilities, and as I've said in the past with this material test, 1P, 2P, 3P, so it goes 1 pass, then it'll go around 2 times, then it'll go around 3 times. Sometimes, depending on the density and the quality of the material you are cutting, you need to go around multiple passes. But with this 1/4 inch material I like to use over at the laser engravers, you can see that it cut cleanly and crisply through with just 1 pass. So I was very happy with that. After that, we done a slate drink coaster, and I was very happy with the quality of it as well. Done my Artisan Pirate logo there. You can see how nice and clean it is, and you can even feel the actual engraving, so that's very cool. Very happy with this. Toocaa went above and beyond with this 20-watt laser engraver. And one thing that's really cool, a camera can be added to it, and also the laser can be upgraded to a 40-watt module. I've never had a 40-watt laser out in the workshop, and I've never had a laser with the camera, so that might be further options to seek out to upgrade this laser engraver to make it even better for projects. Then we done a cell phone stand here, so really cool. 2 pieces of the 1/4 inch material. I again laser etched my logo into it, and with this file here, you can put any logo, any business logo, song lyrics, a photo, a portrait, or anything on the backer board there, and then go about laser cutting it. So really happy with how that came out. Of course, the cell phone will sit there, and then the hole in the back is to put the cell phone charger through. And then the final test we done, I cut up a piece of the actual cardboard that the laser was packed in, and we made a miniature house here. I feel like these would be great for diorama purposes. It slots together. There's no glue holding it together. I've just got a couple pieces of tape on the inside that helped me to hold it together while I was assembling it with the tabbed and slotted process. But I feel like these would be cool for diorama purposes. Maybe make these for a classroom and give these out to where everyone could customize their own individual and make their own little village for seasonal and Christmas decor and things like that, with Christmas right around the corner. But I'm very happy with how this laser works. It works with the Lightburn software, it works with its own software, and it also works with the laser Grbl, GRBL software as well. Of course, you guys know, if you have seen my other laser engraver videos, I am more familiar with the Lightburn software, and that is what I used for everything in today's video. And hopefully along the way from start until now, you guys picked up a tip, trick, or tidbit, and I hope along the way I have maybe interested you guys in seeking out and looking at a Toocaa laser engraver. Again, all the social media links and the discount code will be linked down in the description box below this video. And I want to once again thanks Toocaa for trusting me with this review. That's going to be about all for this one. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you guys. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.